And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have a really super simple and delicious recipe for you for churros. It's honestly very simple to make them at home. You won't get that little channel down the middle doing it the home way, but they're still awesome. I'd also like to remind everyone we do have an affiliate link in the description below for Chef's Temp if you need a kitchen thermometer at home, and you can use code LOVEYOURFOOD for 15% off your purchase. And now here's our ingredients. So we've got some all-purpose flour, some water, some butter, an egg, some vanilla, a little bit of salt, some sugar, and some cinnamon sugar just for the finishing. So that's going to be the last thing we add. We're going to sprinkle that when it comes out of the fryer. So basically churros are very much like the recipe we did recently for crullers. It is a choux pastry. It's very, very similar to most other choux pastries. So we're going to mix the butter, water, salt, and sugar together and melt that all together on the stove. And you want that to just come up to a boil. You don't want it to boil for very long. You don't want to denature the enzymes in the butter or anything, but you do want it to come to just a boil. And then we're going to add in our flour. And once we've added in the flour, it comes together very, very quickly. So we're going to start mixing that all together. And you want to make sure that you get all of that flour incorporated and it turns into a dough very, very quickly. It comes very, very fast. Now, for this one, we're not going to cook it a whole lot more on the stove because we're going to be dropping these in a deep fryer. So they're going to cook a little bit more on their own. So we're not going to cook this anymore. So once you've got that nice and smooth, everything's nicely combined, and the flour is fully incorporated into the butter, there's no lumps or anything, we're going to take that out of the pot, we're going to get that into a bowl and spread it out, and we're going to get that cooled off, because the next thing we want to do is add the eggs, or the egg, and the vanilla, and we don't want to cook the egg, we don't want to scramble it. So once that's closer to room temperature, it's not cooking temperature anymore, we're going to add a little bit of vanilla to one egg. Good idea to crack the egg into another container so that you can make sure there's no shell or anything in it. And then we're going to add the vanilla and egg together. And then we're going to whisk that egg in. Now this takes a little bit more time because it will seem like it's not coming together for a little while. But just keep at it, and eventually you'll have to change out your whisk for a spoon or spatula or something like that, because the whisk will sort of collect all of this batter. But it's going to be a little softer than it was before, a little less sticky, and once you've got it all nice and smooth, it's time to get it into a piping bag. And for those churros, you want that nice ridged texture on the outside. So we're going to get a star tip on our piping bag and a good pair of clean kitchen scissors. And we're just going to drop those right into our preheated hot oil for deep frying. And then we're just going to let those cook until they get a nice golden color. Now, these are a little bit smaller than the crullers we made before. They're going to float pretty soon. They're going to float almost right away once they hit that hot oil. And there's no leavening in these. You're not going to see any baking powder, baking soda, anything like that in these. But they will puff up just from that heat, and you get that nice crispy outside. And as soon as they come out of that cooker, as soon as they come out of the hot oil, you want to get that cinnamon sugar on them so that it really sort of sticks and glazes them. So you get that beautiful powdered sugar or granulated sugar and cinnamon texture on the outside. And you want that to go on as quick as it can once those come out of the oil. And then that's it. They're done. They're great to eat warm. You certainly want to eat them while they're still warm. They're still great when they're cool as well. I wouldn't really keep them overnight, but it's a great little party food and awesome if you've got some guests over. They don't take very long, honestly, so it's a really, really real winner. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe, and if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. We'd like to thank our patrons on Patreon. We have a link in the description below for our Patreon, and if you'd like to support us that way. And remember to love your food.